Plead the cause. Plead the cause of the widow. Plead the cause of the needy. Plead the cause of the broken in spirit. Plead the cause. So I'm sitting here, and that's what came up in my mind. And that brought to me Proverbs 31. And not the Proverbs 31 woman, and we know all about that, right? But what seemed to be skipped over are the first 9 verses. Before you even get to the Proverbs 31 woman, there's a Proverbs 31 man. He's actually a king. And his mother taught him this prophecy. Make sure you read it. Make sure you read the entire chapter. So in the first 9 verses, it says that, this is the prophecy that King Lemuel's mother taught him. And she said, "What, O son of my vows? What son of my womb? It is not for kings, basically, to be hanging around at the bottle, to be drunken and things like that, because he wouldn't have a mind to judge righteously or make the right decisions, because that's what judgment is. Judgment is to make a decision and make that decision with a clear and sober mind, right? So she went on to say that he needed to have a clear and sober mind so that he can plead the cause of the needy, plead the cause of the widow, plead the cause of the fatherless, plead the cause of the broken in spirit. And it really stuck out to me. Plead the cause, plead the cause, plead the cause. That is the why. That's the why. Being a king is a leader. And a leader has vision, not for themselves only, but for those who they will be in dominion and rulership over. And any king that was appointed by Yahweh understood that he was in service to the people. If there was a queen appointed by Yahweh, she was in service of the people. If they weren't in service, then that's when you have a tyrant. That is when you have someone like Pharaoh who, he used the people to build his treasure cities. And they were in heavy bondage and labor, and they were crying out because that Pharaoh or that king was all about themselves. So that is not who King Lemuel's mother was raising. She knew that she was raising a king to be in servant leadership. And he would need to have right judgment. And to have right judgment, you need a right mind. And to have a right mind, when you're looking at something, it's before your face, but there's a why behind it. There's a why behind it. It's like in business or being an entrepreneur. Okay, you want to start this business, but why? Why? Because in your business, whether it's a product or service, You have to provide this product or service for the people. It's for the people. The people desire it. The people need it. So that means that you have to have a mindset to understand what the problem is that those people have in order for you to meet that need, that service. Because there will be trials and tribulations, ups and downs, ebbs and flows, feast and famine. And so you need to understand the why. Because when it gets tough, you always have to go back to, what is your why? Not only yours, but the people. So that you can continue. Plead the cause. That's the why. I was doing a deliverance and healing session on a young man. He's in his late teens, early 20s. And he had actually stole some money from his father. And we could see on the surface, of course, that, okay, he stole. Number one, you shall honor your father and your mother so that your days may be long in the land that Yahweh give you. 2, you shall not steal. Right? I mean, that's just 2 of the 10 commandments. However, why? See, when you judge righteously with a right mind, you don't just look at, oh, they stole, you go to jail. Oh, they stole, you know, why did they do that? Because here's the thing. You could have 2 people that do the same crime, and they both did it for different reasons. Here's an example. 2 people, same crime. Let's say they stole some money. One, when you look at the background, they have everything. They have their parents. Their parents, they come from a background where they have been, they have no need to steal anything. They have, let's say they have both of their parents, they didn't lack anything. They didn't have to worry about food or clothing or shelter or their education or opportunities, any of those things. They had everything that they needed to have on top of opportunities. They had all of that. But they're stealing. Why? You are full to the brim. Why? They got attention as needed. They were disciplined when it called for it. Chastised when it called for it. Why are they stealing? Why did they commit this crime? You have the other one, same crime. They had their mother and father as well. However, they grew up in an environment where, there was high crime, mother and father trying to make ends meet, and the ends still not meeting. And they see the struggles of their parents. And really, they want to help. But they see their father and mother working to the bone. They both have 2 jobs together. And the ends are still not meeting. So they go out and commit a crime. They steal money or food in order to help put food on the table, help with siblings. That's why they're stealing. Why? One, when you get down to the why, the one is filled to the brim. They're actually stealing from a place of greed, insatiableness. It doesn't matter what you do or what you give that person, it's not enough. They're just doing it out of greed. The other is doing it out of, they see a problem. They're trying to help actually with that problem. And before we say, oh, well, they can go get a job too, they see both of their parents working 2 jobs apiece. So they already concluded that jobs aren't enough. They have to do something different. It might be crime, it might be selling drugs, it might be basically a way to get more quicker money. Because those 2 jobs put together that makes 4 is not working. So before we judge, or I would say condemn, because there's a difference between judging righteously and condemning. In most cases, people are condemning. They're not judging. To judge is to make a decision based on the facts, proof, and evidence, and getting down to that why, the bottom line. Condemnation, you see what you see in front of you, and you don't go any further than that. Am I saying that it's right? No, it's not. However, getting to the root cause, you see the difference there. And this young gentleman that I had the session with, getting down to the why, they watched and observed their father in indulgence, so much so that the father indulged himself, and that young man, as a child, shared how they could see their father just taking from their entire family. From when he was even younger than that. Indulged themselves and watched everybody in their household struggle. And when the time came, they were really just fed up. And that is why they took from their father. Just to buy themselves something to eat and something to wear. Clothes. So I was able to share with that young man, number one, don't do that, because you would end up behind bars eventually if you keep up this type of behavior. And no one would plead the cause of your why. It is understood, but it doesn't make it right. And that their father, because the eyes of Yahweh are in every place, beholding the good and the evil. And their father has a why. We don't know what it is, but that's not who we're here for. This is about you as a young man. Forgive them because they don't understand the consequences of their actions to not provide for their family in the way that Yahweh Elohim has caused them to. Forgive them for the days that child, as a child, they were in need, and that parent did not meet their needs. Forgive them. You will hold yourself hostage and bound. And the anger and the bitterness will eat you up inside. Let it go. Apologize, because you are exhibiting actually the same behavior as the person that you stole from. They're stealing too. They stole from you. Don't render evil for evil. Apologize. When you start working, give them their money back. And we're going to release you and deliver you from these negative emotions. And I always share with my clients that negative emotions, that word demon, the word itself, D, negative, mon, moon, emotions. Demon or demons is negative emotions. We're releasing this from your body. We're releasing this from your soul. We're releasing this from your auric field, so that it will not control you. Because then when something else happens, you're triggered. It will trigger that rooted need that you had as a child. And you just continue to go through life like that. We don't want to do that. We release that. You'll find employment. You will pay your parent back. You will apologize. And the Most High, as your Father, as your heavenly Father will be well pleased with you with doing that. You release that. He said he felt a lot better. He felt a lot lighter just with that understanding before we even did the rest of the session. But you have to plead the cause. What is the why? What is the deeper root? There are so many people that are in that situation that their why wasn't recognized. A lot of times when I'm doing these sessions, we always go back to the root. You have to. You have to. There's the root and there's the fruit. You see the fruit. And when you're looking at that fruit, if it's rotten, if it's coming out, that way, we need to get to the root so that we can get some good fruit. So, plead the cause of the why. Plead the cause. That's the why. See you next time.